The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Acuma, its board of directors, its management staff, or its members. The podcast discussion presented is conversational in nature and for general information only.
Hello and welcome to Acuma's On Point Podcast, a series focused on sharing the stories of people who are making a positive impact in the credit union mortgage industry. I'm your host, Peter Benjamin. Today's episode is being brought to you by Curinos. Curinos is a leading provider of timely market data, technologies, and lending insights that enable financial institutions to transform their business ahead of the competition, as well as affirm the value delivered to their members. It's Curinos' mission to help credit unions navigate the present and prepare for the future. Curinos brings to market a new level of industry expertise across deposits, lending, and digital experience solutions and technologies. Curinos' breadth of expertise and solutions span both sides of the balance sheet, with a focus ranging from mortgage to home equity to deposit analytics. Curinos has partnered with hundreds of credit unions for decades. Reach out to learn more about how Curinos can help transform your business. Today, my guest is Daisy Romo, Executive at Large with OnTap Credit Union. Daisy, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am doing great. Thank you, Peter. And you?
I'm doing awesome. Awesome. Thank you for asking. Really excited to talk to you. One, because you work for one of my favorite credit unions, simply by the name and who your membership base is. Thank you very much for all that you do for that community. But again, we'll kind of pick up that conversation in just a quick second. Let's take a quick pause. Again, excited for our episode. But Justin, Hawk, how are you doing? And please tell us, what's all the latest and greatest happening over at Acuma?
I'm good, Peter. How are you?
Living it, man. Just living that dream.
Good. At least we're living dreams still, right?
That's right. LIVIN.
Oh, man. All right. So we got a lot going on at Acuma. So we just came back from Nashville a few weeks ago. We're heading to our next workshop, which is in Denver in about a week. So that's super exciting. After that, we're going to have a in-person break for events, but we will still have all kinds of virtual education, inside tracks, fast tracks, our amazing On Point podcast happening throughout the summer. And then in September, end of September to October 2nd, we're going to be in Las Vegas for our Make Your Mark annual conference.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. I'm super excited. For me, it's kind of nice because we get to go back to not necessarily where it all began for me, but, that's my first Acuma event as an employee and in general. But right. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of all comes back full circle.
That's right. I jokingly talk about how, really, about a month and a half, 2 months after I first started as president, I was thrown into a workshop not knowing anything about events or putting on an event. And you kind of sort of done the same, but, on a bigger scale, like a month and a half after you started, I was like, we're going to Vegas, and this is our big
much larger scale. Yeah,
much larger.
I will never forget Krista giving me 1,000 pieces of paper the first time I met her, saying, "This is all the stuff you need for Vegas." And I was
that's right. The number of trees that Krista's probably killed over her career. I mean,
she probably replants them on that lake.
On the lake or next to the lake. That's the big thing.
Knowing her, she's building an island in the middle.
No,
so that way she can be surrounded by water the entire time.
Anyways, all right. So Acuma Annual, it's going to be awesome. The speaker lineup is absolutely fantastic. We've really done a number and worked hard to get the best speakers that we possibly could. Really excited for this lineup. The agenda, I couldn't have imagined a better agenda than what we put together. Really, it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, we put a lot of work in it, so I'm excited to see what our members really can take away from it, because it's going to be an amazing lineup.
Hands down. All right, so my man, thank you very much.
Of course.
Daisy. All right, Daisy. So I want to get to know a little bit more about you. And I know our listeners do as well. And I know we have a great conversation today on something that you and I are quite passionate about, and that's change, right? And managing change, or just, kind of that change mindset. But before we get to that, quick background. So I got an opportunity to meet you and learn a little bit more about you and how passionate you are for not just the credit union industry and mortgages and what credit unions can do to be more effective and efficient in everything that we do when it comes to mortgage. And I got to really a few months ago, this all occurred, and you and I had a nice fireside chat at a mutual friend, Naveen John's CU Lytics conference. It was a fantastic event. You and I had a great conversation on stage at that fireside chat. And again, it just clicked. Like, you and I have a lot of common. We have a a similar mindset when it comes to this idea of change. And so look, we're going to focus on that, right? We're going to focus on the philosophies and techniques we can do to continue to evolve our side of the mortgage industry. So I love that idea of continuing to evolve and push credit unions forward. But before we get to that, do me a favor. Again, the Acumen on Point podcast is all about you, the person. It's a human interest piece. For those that don't know you, who is Daisy Romo?
Well, Daisy Romo is a professional in the mortgage business. I joined the mortgage industry right out of high school. I think I was 18 when I first got my job in the mortgage business, answering phones. And then from there, I would take a 1003 and hand it over to a loan officer. So by the fact of me just telling you a 1003 or a GFE, you kind of get the idea.
No. People nowadays don't remember the 1003 or the Earl or having to complete a 1008 or GFE or no. It's all digitized at this point, anyways.
Right.
Please.
Yeah. So I saw the job post in a newspaper, and then I just showed up and I needed a job. And the guy who hired me said, I'm not going to give you a job. I'm going to give you a career. Right. And I thought to myself, okay, I do need a job, but a career would be nice too. And here I am, several decades later, or a couple of decades later, I'm still in the business. It is a challenging industry. It is full of change. Nothing is ever the same, not even the loans that we do. I was born and raised in Mexico City. And then I came here at the age of, I was 15, and, still loving this nation. And I just can't get enough of the culture, the people, and the state in which I live. I live in Colorado. So, and yes, I get to work for a great company called OnTap Credit Union. And we serve, the majority of our members are credit union OnTap breweries. So we support the brewing industry overall. Such a fun industry as well.
And so now our listeners understand why you're one of my favorite credit unions. We've talked about my love of beer and my love of home brewing and all that stuff in the past. So it makes sense, right? It makes sense why I think it's so awesome. And again, we love Colorado. We absolutely do. So fantastic. All right. So thank you very much for walking us through that. So again, you and I share a common passion for change, whether it's managing change or being ready to change, or just the philosophical idea that change is a mindset. Granted, it could be a verb, right? It is something that you do, but it could also just be a mindset that you have. So let's talk through that, right? Let's kind of explore the idea of, why is it important for credit unions, especially when it comes to mortgage, right? When it comes to mortgage, credit unions always tend to be at least one or two steps behind banks and IMBs, right? So why is it so important in your opinion, why is it so important for credit unions to kind of foster that change mindset, be change ready, and to continue to push forward and evolve? Well, let's go for that. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So I think, as humans, all of us, need to accept change. But change is very difficult. We are not wired to accept change. We fear the unknown. And the majority of what comes with change is the unknown. You don't know the outcome of whatever it is that you're approaching or the challenge, right? So for credit unions, in many cases, what I found out, as because I've been in the credit union industry for about 3 years or so. Prior to that, I was at a bank, and what I've noticed a lot is that you fear what you don't know, and if you can't guarantee the outcome of success, failure is a real thing, and it can be costly for credit unions because we don't have high margins. We have limited resources, and we care about the member experience. So I think that's the reason why, in many cases, we shy away from change, and many times we're steps behind the regular industry as a whole, just because we don't have, there's fear and we don't have the resources in order to, and if we do make mistakes, it can be costly, like I said. So what I have learned along the way with the credit union is that change is going to come your way no matter what, whether you are ready or not. Change is coming. And the faster you can accept it, the better positioned your company will be.
No, sorry to interrupt, and I agree with that. Even if you use the current market as an example, right? Mm-hmm. Or not even the current market. Let's go from everything that occurred in 2019 to 2020, right? That was a significant change and impacted the mortgage industry as a whole, right? And then look at 2020, 2021, then all of a sudden a big shift in 2022. Here we are, 23, 24. This market continues to change, right? Mm-hmm. It continues to evolve. It continues to leave economists or housing analysts puzzled, right? Mm-hmm. So we're in this change environment, right? It's almost to the point of we have to get ahead of this somehow, right? Or am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to get ahead of it. I mean, it's either adapt or die. I don't think there is any other solution to it. There is any other outcome. If you want to stay in the mortgage business, you do have to adapt to the change that is being thrown at you. We've had how many rate changes since 2022? And then now, we were expecting rates to decrease this year, and now there are talks that they may not decrease. So here we are, a market that is highly dependent on the rate environment. And we've seen layoffs, we've seen mergers, we've seen
banks collapse.
Things collapse. Banks are just, and I mean, if it happens to the biggest, you can just imagine what will happen to the ones that have less assets, right? So my change is difficult, and yes, the fact of the matter is that none of us are comfortable with change. All of us find it challenging. All of us find it, uncomfortable. But then at the same time, the sooner you accept it, the better you're off. And you just have to accept it. And then at the same time, once you accept it, then you become aware of what you've got to deal with. Now you have to know your players. What kind of environment are you playing in? You've got to know your game. You've got to know the mortgage as a whole, all the factors, all the variables that come into it. You've got to know your team, your technology, your competitors, all of that. Once you accept change, the first step is to accept change. It's happening. Now, what are you going to do about it?
That's right. Can
I add something real quick?
Please, by all means.
Yeah. So, I love this conversation on change. It's interesting the way you guys, the way we're talking about it, because it's that one constant. It's the one thing that you can guarantee is always going to happen. It's just change. But then when I'm listening to you talk about certain things about like the sooner you accept it, you don't want to fight it. You want to move along with it. It almost like seems like we're also talking about change and grief, right? Like just those two terms combined a little bit. So I just found that kind of interesting for our listeners because that's also like grief, like, the tough times that are in front of us and, how do we accept it? How do we get past it versus just fighting it, right? So
there is if you Google the change curve, it's exactly the same thing.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You really did. Oh my God! Yeah.
You and I are in sync.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, Google it. Like, you go from acceptance to denial. It could be the same day. It could be within an hour. It could be over the span of a week. But that change curve is also used when we do talk about grief as well.
Yeah. No, I just found it interesting, like that relationship. So, and I think that's something that we got to point out. Like it's not that we're grieving in it on a specific topic, but just the constant of change that's in our world. Like we have no choice but to kind of accept it. Like you said, you got to do it or die.
Yeah.
Such a fun way to phrase that.
Yeah.
But I also love the way that, Daisy, you're framing it up, right? It really is a mindset, right? Yes, you take action and you change by doing it, right? But it really is that mindset of acceptance, right? You've already spelled it out. Change is inevitable. Change is going to happen. Accept it, move forward, be in a better place. Right.
Correct. Yes. One thing that I forgot to tell you guys is that I studied change for about 10 years or so. I got a PhD. I wrote a research project on change management and change readiness and the growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I tested lending professionals for an institution to see if your ability to change had anything to do with the organizational outcomes and if there was any kind of connection between the two. And it turns out that the more we think we know, the less likely we are to change. So the other thing is that when change is happening, it is necessary that we humble ourselves down because we don't know everything. So it turns out that the more you think you know, the less likely that you are going to be with welcoming change. So humbleness and having a growth mindset helps with your ability to welcome change. And this happens with I'm assuming this can be extended to a lot of industries, but I tested our lending institutions because so this whole thing came out. Do you guys remember when the 2007, 2008 debacle, when foreclosures were happening? Mortgage companies were imploding, and there was like a website,
mortgageimplode.com.
Yes, Mortgage Implode. And all of us mortgage professionals were going in on a daily basis to see who was going down. Do you guys remember?
I actually learned about my company closing on that website before I was actually notified by the company.
Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. The same thing for me. I learned that my company was merging with another company through that website before we were notified by the company. So yeah, I am right there with you. But that's also another good example of how people fear change, even messaging the change, right? So I decided to pick up this project and kind of do some research about it. Have you guys heard of Carol Dweck? She's a Stanford psychologist. No. She coined the term growth mindset, and that has a lot to do with it's like those mindset is those set of glasses that you put on in order to view your world. It turns out that all of us have a mindset. All of us have a different way of looking into our world. And whether we do it through the growth mindset or the fixed mindset, that has a lot to do with the way you approach life. And she did a whole study around it. There's a book called Mindset that I dug in when I was doing my research project. And it turns out that the way that you approach goals, the way that you work with your family, the way that you learn has a lot to do with your mindset. And it turns out that as lending professionals in many cases are not very good at welcoming change, and we're very fixed mindseted, which is the reason why we are an industry that also is afraid of technology. We are not so much afraid, but we just, we've done this for so long.
I do want to come back to technology. I want to come to technology, but I want to go back to something you said, right? You said, and it's not a direct quote, but it's the people who portray themselves as being the smartest tend to be the ones that are most resistant to change. And I'm paraphrasing, right? Mm-hmm. That couldn't be more true, especially as I think about credit unions, right? Credit unions, the common phrase, we've done it this way. We've always done it this way, right? That's always the common phrase we hear in credit union space. We hear it at our events. People complain at our events that they hear this. We've always done it this way. But it kind of goes back to that, right? It goes back to, we know what we're doing. It's worked for us in the past. It's going to work for us today. It's going to work for us tomorrow. We're okay. Well, the tough part is, I think we're seeing this now. It's not working.
Mm-hmm. It's okay until it's not okay.
Right. Yes. That's that. It's okay until it's not. Right. And we could frame it up by different examples of credit unions having that fear of selling loans on the secondary marketing servicing release, right? That fear of, and I'm doing bunny ears, quote to air quotes for our listeners, the fear of losing your member, right? You're not, right? Most credit union members are so loyal that even if someone else was going to call, they'd still give that credit union a fair chance for that business anyways, right? Now, I'll come off my soapbox, but I thought that was so insightful. It really was. So I'll come up to technology. There is a fear of technology. It could also just be laziness. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. Now, I'm totally foreseeing someone emailing me saying I'm not lazy. It could also be just laziness about wanting to adopt new technology, right? Just the system's it's not the best system, but it's not broken. So why get a new one, right? Well, that system's probably 10 years old and nowhere near to being as efficient as a new tech software could be, right? Anyways, I interrupted you. Technology, where are we going with technology?
You're totally right. You're totally right. I think what I see a lot is multiple things. So with change, we're going through the curve, and people, let's say change comes at you. There are two ways. You either going to go for the change, you're going to wait to see what others are doing, or you're going to resist change. So I did a little bit of research project to see where, I gathered 2,000 employees of this institution. And from there, they were all going through digital change. We were all going through a loan origination system change. And we did a survey to see where everybody was at when it comes to change and whether they were change ready or not change ready. When I got the results back, 10% of all the people that we surveyed, 10% were all for the change. They were like, yes, let's do it. We're excited. We get the change. We get the urgency. Yes, that could be because that is their growth mindset, right? On the other side, the other 10%, of the spectrum were very polarized. They were on the other spectrum. They were resisting the change. No, it's not needed. Why are we doing something when it's working? Why can't we use these resources and this money for something else that's broken? And they were just hoping and resisting that this change wouldn't go through. The other 80%, they're the neutrals. They're the ones that, yes, we're just waiting to see where this is going to take us. It's either one way or the other. So what I tell a lot of my peers is just be careful with your messaging. If you are introducing change, make sure that everyone understands the need for the change. If they don't understand the need for the change, they will resist it, because you have an 80% group that will go one way or another if the messaging is not clear, if they don't get the need for change. So all of it comes down to messaging and setting the urgency of it, setting the need. Why is it that you're doing the change? Why is it that the company needs to go in this direction? I mean, we've seen layoffs with mortgages. What happens is that, in this kind of industry, in this kind of environment, people do get let go. Mm-hmm. How are you? That's a change. That's change. And for the people that are left behind, that's
a change that drives fear more so than other changes, right? That one is likened to death. I hate to say it, right? But people go through that grieving phase, very similar to death when they lose a job, right? So that one is an extreme, right? But let's not do the extreme. Let's do something like we're getting a new LOS. Let's use that as an example. Okay. With that, I agree. Getting everyone's buy-in and understanding. They may not agree, but at least they align to the direction, right? That as a leader, that becomes extremely important, right? Getting them. Okay, well, they may not agree with the direction, but at least they understand why. They understand, okay, well, if we want to compete, this technology is needed, or we want to bring on additional capabilities like e-sign, right? I'm just throwing out a random thing, right? The current system doesn't allow us to do it. So therefore, this is the direction that we want to go, right? Getting them to at least understand that direction is so vital. And I couldn't agree more, but please continue.
No, so there are so many things that I learned along the way with studying change and change readiness and the fixed and growth mindset. And this is related to also the way that we deal with change in our personal lives. I mean, I'm sure that you all know, if you're in this industry as a mortgage professional, you've left mostly everything on the table, right? This is a feast or famine industry where, when rates are low, we are super busy. We can't really even climb out to breathe because we're all in it. We've got lots of applications. Everybody's at the feast situation, feast or famine. And then when, rates do change and things like this happen, like what we're living in today, we're on the other side. So having a growth mindset, let me just explain what growth mindset is and what fixed mindset is. So fixed mindset is all about your ability to evolve as a human being. So if you have a growth mindset, you tell yourself, okay, I may not know this today, but if I read up on it, if I prepare myself, I can learn. My brain will allow me to adjust, and I will learn and I will grow. And that is also coupled with resilience. Resilience also comes with it's that grit, right? That even if you get turned down, even if you don't know how to play a sport, even if, whatever comes your way, you've got resilience, you've got grit. And then that is a growth mindset. So several studies have been done, that are over decades. studies of kids who have a growth mindset versus kids that have fixed mindsets. And it turns out that, kids that have a growth mindset later on in life are more successful than kids that have a fixed mindset. But because kids with fixed mindsets are of the thought of, I am who I am. There's really nothing that I can do in order to change my situation. And they don't believe that people can change. So if you believe that people cannot change, most likely you cannot change, right? Because that's the view that you've adopted. So they're very fixed minded. Things are the way they are. And there's really nothing else that you can do in order to change your situation. So let's say as a kid, if you get a bad grade, it's because the teacher was the bad teacher, right? Or the teacher didn't like you. Or it's pushing, it's deflecting kind of that performance into others. And then on the other side, the growth mindset, it's all about accountability. What can I do? Yes, the teacher may be hard, but I'm only going to have this teacher for this year and I'm going to move on. Or what can I do to learn from this, right? So that's what the growth mindset and the fixed mindset is all about. So it turns out that the way that we approach change also in the mortgage industry is so related to it as well. And I'm sure that you guys have ran into folks that share either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, or even you have employees that have, one mindset or the other. And it's about getting people to understand that people can change. And yes, our brain is malleable and our brain can accept new things. And we can definitely, get them to grow from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. And yeah, that's all I got to say right now.
No, I like it. Well, it's actually good timing. So I was trying to find my in, because we do need to start transitioning to the second segment of the podcast. Okay. But before we do that, I always ask people two final questions. The first one is, do you have any final thoughts? Like what? And I'm going to ask seek more of a specific answer, if it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, the final thoughts, what can credit unions do to change and evolve and really move our industry forward? What do we need to do?
So I wrote 4 steps.
Okay.
One is accept change.
Okay.
2 is know your players, know your industry. 3, assess your gaps. Assess get feedback, whatever it is that you need to do in order to assess the gaps of your organization, your department, your game. It's your game. Assess your gaps. So be humble, be nimble, and accept feedback, and then take action.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So final question, true final question. So again, this is a podcast focused on getting to know you. Again, it is what more specifically, it started with a simple idea of, what motivates us to keep pushing forward, what keeps motivating us to try to make our corner of the finance world, home finance, mortgage, however we frame it up, what keeps pushing us forward to make it better, right? And so it goes down to the individuals. So the question comes, what keeps motivating you day in, day out? You're like every single person. What keeps driving you forward to make such a large impact in your credit union and our industry?
The community, to be honest, the impact that we get to make. I think, a lot of us are in for the reward of just helping others. And that is my reward. I love our credit union space. Honestly, we are very community driven. It's not for profit, yet our winnings are shared with our members. And I don't know how it is that I didn't find the credit union space any sooner. but now I can't leave it behind. I think we stand for something unique. And it is the impact that we make in our communities. And whether we think we're making it or not, I do believe that as mortgage professionals, we get to provide the means to place people into homes. And what a better reward than to do that on a daily basis. So that's what motivates me. It's the fact that we are impacting our community. And aside from that, I get to go to our housewarming parties whenever we close on mortgages. So, and I get to drink beer. So
I love it. Yeah, that's right. You do.
That's my
right.
motive.
You do. That's right. You know what? That was one of the best answers that we've gotten so far. Thank you very much.
Beer.
Really do appreciate it. Beer. Justin wakes up and he's like, "Oh, beer."
I've been here. Look, it's allergy season. We don't want to hear all this going on over here.
Dude, it is allergies are killing me this year. Anyways. Well, thank you very much, Daisy. Really do appreciate it. Great answer, great conversation. But we need to transition. We need to make that segue to the second segment of our podcast. And again, this is where we do, something different, something fun at the end. Sometimes we play Jeopardy. Sometimes we, do dad jokes. Today, we're going to do ranking. And so again, with ranking, it's all I'm going to ask you to do is just kind of guess or rank where you think certain things within a category will fall. Okay. It's not hard. I promise it's not hard. It does require you to think a little bit, but again, all right. So not hard. So in honor of the fact that you work for On Tap Credit Union, we're going to do a little beer ranking or brewery ranking. All right. So what I did, we're going to test your knowledge. And Justin, of course, we're going to test your knowledge, but I think you're probably good on this.
No, I'm not good at that.
I've never had a beer. So
never had a beer. Give me a break, man. Oh my God.
Look, I was in the Navy. I've never had a beer.
That's right. You never had a beer. All right. So again, thank you for your service. All right. So we're actually going to focus on US. Okay. So think about US. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to kind of guess, but also rank where you think. And I had the top 10, just so you know, I have the top 10. Excuse me 1 second. I had the top 10, but I want you to guess the top 5 breweries by production. Now, you could say the beer. You could say the actual brewing company. I have all of it. Okay. So top 5. I have the top 10.
Top 5 for production. Production. Okay. I got that.
All right. So, since Daisy, you got that. You're like, I'm so confident in this. I know.
No, not at all. I got my arms crossed.
No, you're getting, and it's not a competition. Like just because you might get it right and Justin doesn't, or Justin gets it right and you don't, doesn't mean if someone wins. We're just gonna have fun. Have a conversation.
No, it is a competition, Daisy. It's you and me versus
everything
Peter.
Is a competition.
It's definitely you and me versus Peter and his not so hard list. Because
so then we need to have a prize. We need to have a prize. So Peter, if we win on this side, Justin and I, then you buy us beer when you come. Oh, because you guys are coming to Denver. So hey, yes,
we'll be there. We'll be there in like a week. But anyways, no, but that again, it's not a competition. I have the list. I know it, and I probably could have guessed this if I was given this. If someone said the same exact thing to me, can you guess the top 5 production breweries? I probably would have got Ben spot on.
Daisy, I'm on your side. It's you and me against him.
All right, so let's start with number 1. Okay. Let's start with number 1. What brewery? Again, U.S. production. What brewery produces the most beer in the United States? Number 1. And here's the tough part. The publication where I got this from is the Brewers Association. Okay. So it's actually the official stuff. They did not release the barrel count. Okay. So all you have to do is just tell me which brewery produces the most.
Daisy, what you think?
I don't know, but I'm sweating. So
Don't sweat. No, this is not a big deal. This is not a big deal. All right, Justin, what do you think? What
Miller.
brewery? What?
Miller.
Okay.
Okay, so I am gonna go with my own little heart here, and I'm gonna say Coors.
Okay, so here's the tough part, right? Neither of them are number one.
Oh, darn it.
Okay, neither of them are number one. But I'll tell you where they land in the top five.
Okay, so they are in the top 5.
They are in the top 5, but here's the tough part. Miller and Coors are both owned by Molson Coors. They're owned by the same company. Okay.
Yeah.
So in theory, Molson Coors, the company that owns Molson, Miller, Coors, plus 30 other breweries, microbreweries, is at number 2.
See, I knew. Well, I didn't know it, but I knew that we were up
close.
there.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. All right, so you have number 2. All right, so so they're number 2. Molson Coors is number 2. Who's number 1?
Budweiser.
Okay, Justin.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Okay, you're gonna go. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, Miller wasn't it, so it's definitely Bud.
Well, yeah, I know, but the fact that Miller and Coors are like both owned by the same company, that's really a curveball. It really is. But hey, all right, so you are correct. Anheuser-Busch produces the most beer in the United States, but it's also like Budweiser. So that's Budweiser, Bud Light. I didn't know this actually. Anheuser-Busch owns Stella, and then they own 12 other brewery names.
Can't believe you said Stella without going Stella.
Right, with Seinfeld, right?
Stella. Missed opportunity. What can I say?
Every time I say that, I'm like, Stella. You got it.
Okay. All right.
It's just a thing.
All right. So number 3. You're not going to get so let's just, how about this? Let's just wrap up the rest of the 5. So you need 3, 4, and 5.
Yuengling.
Yuengling's top 7, but it's not top 5.
So that means it's number 7.
It is number 7.
Okay.
Who is the brewery that makes Guinness?
There you go, Guinness.
All right, so that one's tough. All right, so Guinness is not in the top 5, nor is that brewery that produces it. Guinness changed hands mid-year 2023, so I'm going to butcher this. Diageo. Actually, I think that's actually how you pronounce it. They're at number 6.
Okay. Well, at least they were up there in the top 10.
So, but here's the tough part. Guinness was formerly also owned by Lion at one point in time, and Lion is at number 10. And so they changed hands midway through the year because now Diageo's at number 6. And the funny thing is that Guinness is the only brewery owned by Diageo. And so for them to be the number 6 when it comes to producing beer is quite amazing, which means Guinness puts out a lot of beer. The rest of Diageo's portfolio is all liquors like Johnny Walker, Captain Morgan, Kettle One, plus a handful of others. So, all right. So not Guinness. You still need 3, 4, and 5. So in theory, if you're looking at the top 10, you have 1, 2, 6, 7, and 10. But 10, I'll expand on 10 a little bit more. All right. So you need 3, 4, 5 for the top 5.
Justin,
Dogfish
help me
Head.
out.
All right. So you're saying Dogfish Head. Dogfish Head is part of Boston Beer, which is also Sam Adams. The only 2 beers in that portfolio. They're at number 9.
Oh,
This is not good.
This is not good.
we're definitely, at least we're staying with the top 10. So that's not bad.
See, then it gets harder because then I drink more.
Can we give some hints, Peter?
I know
Do we
breweries.
have,
but they're
can
more
we call?
craft.
All right. So I'll give you a hint. Okay. So number 5 I feel like, all right. So, so Justin, all right. So number 5, it's a Baltimore beer, a Baltimore thing.
Okay. No, that was the hint. You realize I'm not from Maryland, right?
I know, but have you ever been to Baltimore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Couple times.
There's literally, it's you drive past this building and you know.
Is that the one with the crab on it?
No, it's not the one with the crab on it. All right, so at number 5, so at number 5, you have Pabst. Okay.
Oh, PBR.
Oh.
So Pabst. So hold on, Pabst owns and brews PBR, Lone Star, Old Milwaukee, and Natty Boh.
So you call Natty Boh, but not the Beast. Come on, man.
No, man. No. The Boh. So the Boh was Baltimore hint.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we got number 5. The other one, it's in a green bottle.
Oh, that's Heineken.
Dos Equis?
All right. So at number 4, we have Heineken USA. Heineken USA.
Heineken. Okay.
Heineken owns Heineken, Dos Equis, Amstel, and actually one of my favorites. It's like my sleeper pick on a really hot day. Red Stripe. No, man.
Nice.
No. It's 100 degrees outside. You're mowing the lawn. Grab a Red Stripe. I'm back in the Caribbean, right? All of a sudden, it's perfect. Anyways, all right. So we need number 3. And here's the hint. It's famous for the fact that you put a lime in it.
Corona.
There you go.
Corona.
There you go. All right. So at number 3,
Why didn't I think of it?
At number
wrong with me?
I know. At number 3, you have Constellation, who brews Modelo and Corona. Although I personally like Modelo. All right. So
better.
So rounding out the top 10, we have Anheuser-Busch, Molson Coors, Constellation, Heineken USA, Pabst, Diageo, Yuengling, Bifco USA, which is Labatt Blue, Boston Beer at number 9, and then Lion at number 10, and that's Kirin, like the Kirin Japanese beer, and New Belgium, which is
I was going to say New Belgium,
which is right down the street from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's brewery ranking right there.
And it was not that hard.
It wasn't that hard. Come on, man.
It was not. It was actually fun.
See, I like how she threw the word "actually" in.
I know. I actually love that word.
Come on, man.
Actually.
Yeah, actually.
No, it was a good time. We definitely have expanded our beer knowledge. That will maybe save me one day if I ever get asked that in a trivia.
Yeah.
Well, don't play
trivia with me still.
Yeah, don't do trivia or Jeopardy with Justin or be on his team because he's like the worst at it. Anyways, Daisy, thank you very much for joining us on today's podcast. We really do appreciate it. Enjoyed the conversation. Again, thank you so much. It was awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, guys. If you ever need a girl to talk about nothing, I'm here.
Talk about nothing. and by the way,
yet about everything.
And by the way, I don't forget that when you made a promise to me that when I'm in Denver, you're going to buy me a beer. So,
of course, yes.
All right, so I'll see you in like a week. All right, so excellent. And Hawk, thank you very much for being here as well.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
Of course. All right, and to close out, thank you again to Kyrinos for sponsoring today's episode, and to all of you. We know your time is valuable. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Acuma's On Point podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be well, my friends.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time at the Acuma On Point podcast. If not already, be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. For more great episodes and information, be sure to visit us online at acuma.org, and to get the latest updates, head over to our LinkedIn page.